Blessings, candle heads. Come along with me as we make a skull candle from start to finish. First, you'll need your plastic pourette. Obviously, you can do this with any mold, but here we are doing the skull candle. You can get these plastic molds from spiritcrafts.net. And we are adding our hemp wick to the mold. You will cut it to size. We attach the top of our molds with electrical tape. You will also need clear clamps that you can also get from spiritcrafts.net. And you add those to your 3 sides. Now there are other ways to do this. There's many different techniques to seal the plastic pourette molds. This over the years we have found is the best way for us, but feel free to play around and find what's best for you. Then you want to tape your wick into place. Again, we use electrical tape here because it doesn't leave any residue on the wick. And then you obviously want your mold to be able to stand up while you're pouring it. There's also several options here. Spirit Crafts also has mold holders. We have found in the past that those don't work very great for us. We use the alligator clips that you get basically office supplies, and they seem to work great. Any way that you can hold your mold into place is fine. You'll find so many different ways to do this. So we have our black wax here, and we are pouring it into the mold. You always want to pour nice and slow, because if you pour really fast and willy-nilly, you're going to get air pockets and bubbles. And now, once you pour, you're going to have to pour several more times because wax does settle and you will get air pockets, divots, bubbles, things of that sort. So this is a topping off number 1. Now, you don't want to just stand there and wait on your candle and twiddle your thumbs. You're going to want to be doing other things. This is just an example of one candle. We don't ever make one candle at a time. This is just for video's sake. Typically we have at least, I don't know, 10 candles that are wicked at one time and pouring. This is just for video's sake. And then we do top off number 2. I messed up right here and it was still a little wet. I was trying to show you guys how there was a hole. So this is top off number 3. So as you can see, there's a lot of time and labor that goes into making just one candle. Top off number 3. And when we're in the workshop, we always want to make sure we're having fun. See yourself looking fine, do a little dance. Now, we've gone over this before. This is the opening and edging process. As you can see, there's still a little tiny hole in the top, air pockets. So you want to unclamp and unclasp your mold. And voila, you have a beautiful skull candle, but it's still not finished. Now, there are some times when your candle will be stuck to the mold. This happens when it's not completely dry or if your mold has aged over time. This is a little secret tip right here. When your candle is sticking to the mold, you can hit it with a heat gun very lightly. You don't want to remelt the wax, and it will begin to unstick from the mold. You can see the color, you can see it separating from the mold. So if you ever think you have a stuck candle, you don't. There's always a way out, I promise. And voila! So now you have your unpretty candle. You need to edge the sides, trim the wick at the bottom, because you obviously cannot send it to your customer this way or use it in your working. I mean, I guess you could use it in your working this way, but you kind of want to have pretty candles. So just imagine we have I believe 32 wholesale accounts right now who order, 500 candles at a time each. So when we're doing this, it takes a very long time. This is just one candle, so if you could imagine it times 500, this is why your patience is always greatly appreciated, and we are always working our tails off. So you can see there's still a little bit of a hole there. So now we're going to take it over to our flattening station. We don't like our candles to wobble. We don't like them to lean the way that the mold is made, so we cut off the bottom to make it a flat surface. And as you can see, this opens up the candle more at the bottom, showing that it's hollow. Nobody wants a hollow candle. I believe this is a step that some shops may overlook, but this is a very important step for us. So we take a pipette, and we fill up every single candle so that there is no hole or hollowness in the candle. You want to make sure that your clients have a very solid candle. So you just fill, and let it dry. And the pipettes, yes, they are plastic, and we recycle and reuse them. So the hole is filled, the candle is no longer hollow. Oh, it's wobbly. So what do you do about a wobble? Well, over the 5 years we've been doing this, we have figured out to use a hot flattening grill and flatten out your candle. This is another step that we really pride ourselves on. And then you kind of smooth it on some cardboard. Wipe the edges for your client. And it still needs just a little bit more. Cut the bottom of the wick. And it needs just a little bit more to be flat, to stand sturdy. Swipe, wipe. Smooth, and voila. But after touching the candle for so long during the work, it gets a little bit smudged up. Fingerprints on it, doesn't look so great, right? So what do you do for that? Before any candle goes to a client, we hit it with a heat gun and we give it a beautiful shine. You want to be careful with this part if you're using an industrial heat gun the way we do. Put it on low and just barely heat it. But as you can see, if you watch the skull, it looks a little dull right now. Hitting it with the heat gun brings a beautiful shine to it. This also is a great tip for shops if you've had a candle sitting on a shelf for some time and it's gotten a little dull or faded a bit. Just hit it with a heat gun and it'll bring that shine right back up, looking brand new. And voila! And you have a perfect shiny skull. Thanks guys, we love you so much.